He says, then you will know the truth. He was telling them they didn't know the truth.
Right.
You see it?
Yeah.
Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Wait a minute.
And in their speech and in their expression and their dress and all of this, that they actually they have a corner on
Or they're
God.
holier, or they're closer
Yeah,
to God.
they're closer
Hey, that tells you how old we are, right? So he put the camera on the guy, and the guy saw the camera, and he started doing that. That's hypocrisy, okay? And this
When you begin to look at it from that perspective, that conflict in you can only be resolved in one way, and it's the truth of the scriptures of God's Word, because it reveals the personage of Jesus and tells you what He did for you. And that's what set my mother free. That's what set me free. My whole family saved, and we all came out of that background, Pastor.
You know what you're really talking about is getting out of a mechanical situation and getting into a really heartfelt relationship. And you know, Pastor, the Lord just quickened to me something, and it really makes sense. As you were talking, in the olden days, in the 15th century, with kings and all, marriages, even to this day in the Far East, there's arranged marriage. They want, this king to marry this queen's.
Right.
And it was done in the Bible, okay? And in most cases, okay, I would say in most cases, and there was movies made about this, where one was being forced to marry one person and they didn't love him.
Right.
Okay? But they really loved somebody else.
Yeah.
And it's a perfect analogy in this context. We grew up really already arranged. We were told what to believe.
Right.
It was mechanical. We went through that confirmation. We went through the communion, our Holy Communion. But when what happened, we fell in love and said, wait a minute, this arranged marriage that we were with isn't working because there's no love there.
Right.
I'm not even attracted to that person because we left it, Pastor Bill.
Yeah.
We left it before we found Christ.
Right.
We knew something wasn't right there, you know. And so if you take that analogy. Now, one other thing I want to get into, because I don't want to leave the Jewish aspect yet, because in John 8, the Lord revealed this to me. I was stumbling over this, okay? I'm just admitting that there's some passages that really create a very difficult understanding. And here's one of them in John 8:31. In John 8:31, he said, he spoke or spake, King James, to the Jews that believed in him. So I took that right there and I said, well, these are Jewish believers, okay? It says it. He spake to the Jews that believed in him. And he says, if you continue in my word, then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. They said, whoa, we Abraham's children. We've never been in bondage. Jesus said, no, he who sinned is a servant to that sin, and whom the Son sets free, they are free indeed. They said, you're altogether born in fornication. The Lord said, no, you are of your father, the devil. He wasn't saying your mama, your mama, your mama. He was just saying, no, you are of your father, the devil. Now that was confusing. Why does it say in verse 31, the Jews believed in him and they had that kind of reaction? The Lord gave me the answer, and boy, I was excited when he shared it with me, because it was really bothering me that they believed in him, but yet they called him, a fornicator, come out of fornication. I mean, they really railed on him, okay?
Right.
And Jesus just turned around and
the reason they accused him of that is because Mary came up pregnant.
Of course.
Without being married.
That's right. So they reverted back to that old rumor that was going around that Jesus was born of fornication. So anyway, and of course they didn't believe in a virgin birth.
Right.
But I went back and really looked at it, and the Lord quickened this to me. Okay? When Jesus stood there and he said, many of you, now I'm digressing, going back to another passage here. And he said, many of you will come to me in that day and say, Lord, Lord. So the Jews believed in God.
Right.
Okay? The Jews absolutely believed in Jehovah God.
Absolutely.
Okay, now watch.
No question.
He spake to the Jews that believed in him who was God.
Oh, wow.
You see it? But yet, they were still under the idea that they were already the elite and they didn't need any more. And Jesus was saying, no, 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 listen. You got to progress here to recognize who I am. So here it is. He spake to the Jews that believed in God, which was, he was God, right?
Right.
And he said, if you continue in my word, you see, you got to come out of this into my word, which is, he is the word.
Right.
He is God manifested in the flesh. And he says, then you will know the truth. He was telling them they didn't know the truth.
Right.
You see it?
Yeah.
Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Wait a minute. What did they want to revert back to? Pedigree. We're Abraham's children. We've never been in bondage. We got the law. We're the cat's meow. There's nothing wrong with us. Jesus said, no. Basically, anyone that has sinned, and all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God, they're a servant to the sin. Guys, y'all need to get saved.
Right.
Y'all need to be born again.
Exactly.
Y'all need to accept me. I am God manifested in the flesh. You need to believe my words. You see? So this whole Jewish thing, if you don't come out of it and find the substance of Christ, forget about all of that blowing that shofar and wearing little harmonicas. And, I was at a convention. I don't like to go to too many, but I was invited. And I went, I listened to the preacher preach, and he was a good preacher, I didn't. But there was a guy in front of me about 3 tables. It was really nice, first class. And he was in the full regalia. And Pastor Bill, he started playing hill songs.
Yeah.
He was doing a Jewish dance to hill songs. Mm-hmm. Not in the key of E, a minor chord. That's Jewish, right? Yeah. This was Hillsongs. And you know what he was doing? He was doing a Jewish dance, I wanted to walk over there and say, buddy, would you quit paying? You're drawing attention to yourself, okay? That's all it's about. Right. Now watch this. Scott will get a good kick out of this. Scott is a son in the gospel to me. Scott Dufour, they're out of San Antonio. They went with us to Israel. And he told me this. He said, Pastor, he said, I watched this with my own eyes. He said, I walked in there and they were reading the scripture. You know, like they do, they bob and everything.
He was at the Wailing Wall.
We were at the Western Wall, which they call the Wailing Wall. Right. The only thing that was left by the Romans, okay, that exists to this day. Jesus prophesied not the wall. He said, not one stone shall be left upon the temple. Say, that was destroyed.
Right.
All right, so he was watching them and he says, man, this is crazy. And if you've ever watched them, they read like this. They go like this, okay? So he was watching one guy and he was kind of, reading like this. And he came in with a camcorder. And when he came in with that camera, okay? I'm dating myself. Okay? Hey, look, 8 tracks, okay? Yeah. Remember 8 tracks, okay? I keep saying cassettes.
Yeah.
Okay? Hey, that tells you how old we are, right? So he put the camera on the guy, and the guy saw the camera, and he started doing that. That's hypocrisy, okay? And this is the nonsense. Yeah. Get away from all of that stuff. Man, just purity of heart, simplicity. Don't be seen of other men. Don't try to get attention to yourself. Man, come humbly before God. Hey, listen, there's people that for the last 20 years have been coming out of their closet, and the church needs to get in the closet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Prayer closet.
Yeah, we need to get in our prayer closet.
That's right.
And seek the Lord and not let our left hand know what our right hand's doing, And it's just ridiculous, man. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's going on in Christendom today, and a lot of innocent people, a lot of sincere people, man, not people that are out there belligerent or looking to make a name for themselves. I'm talking about sincere, God-fearing, God-believing people that are being led into things that bring them back to the old covenant, bring them back to the old way of doing things. And they actually think that by embracing this and incorporating this in their walk and in their speech and in their expression, their dress and all of this, that they actually they have a corner on
or they're
God.
holier, or they're closer to
they're
God, or
closer
they
to
got
God.
something, they got
Yeah.
the corner on it.
Yeah,
They got the corner on the market.
Exactly.
Y'all don't really understand what we're involved in. We understand all the Jewish,
Hey,
it's
that's
crazy.
like I made a statement the other day. A lady told me in the church I wore a suit. Going back to that. Man, I wanted to just take that coat
Well, tell them
off.
what they said, because somebody might not remember.
Yeah, well,
what happened.
they came up to me. I happened to wear a suit one day. I don't wear suits here at home. This is home.
Yeah.
I don't wear suits here.
Yeah.
You see this? I got shorts on today, but I'll wear long pants and I'll put some dress shoes on.
In fact, Pastor, your testimony is you're going to find the guy that made the tie, and you're going to.
Oh yeah, if he's in heaven, the guy that invented ties.
Yeah.
We're going to have words. If you hear some ruckus going on, I found him. Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's ridiculous. Okay,
Yeah.
but here's the point: it doesn't make a person, and it doesn't make you any better. It does. To me. I do it because if I'm in Rome, I'll dress and do as the Romans do. I'll dress in a suit if I go to your church or whatever. But in reality, I myself don't like to wear a suit. So one day I wore one. A lady walked up to me here at the church, and she was, just being nice. And she goes, "Boy, you really look." Not one time did we ask for a nickel or a penny, and we didn't beat the sheep or hustle the sheep to pay for the TV
or use
time.
Malachi 3:10.
Yeah, you rob God.
You're robbing God and putting condemnation on people.
That knows Jesus has the right to call upon the name of the Lord. He knows what you have need of before you even ask. And he's a father that's compassionate and understanding.
And it was his wife. His wife had her ear open. They both fell on their face and they got saved, Pastor Bill. So we're not just mocking that doesn't happen.
Right.
We point out chicanery. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
There's a bunch of nonsense out there, but there is the real.